So, hey guys, welcome back to Gooseberry Homestead. Today is one of those days where I end up doing more than one video, more than two videos. Y'all will just get used to the fact that sometimes I'll have more than two videos in a day. But this happened this afternoon. Check my greenhouse out. I just moved the greenhouse to this place last week. Give or take a week and a half. It's completely empty inside of it. Reason being is it's getting up to close to 80 degrees with the door open. Now I had moved it into the spot because I was wanting the greenhouse to have a little bit more light during the day. However, by trial and error, I am learning that my little greenhouse slash cold frame, so to speak, which in a sense it is a cold frame. I don't have like a compost heap inside. I don't have things to help generate or regulate, the airflow and heat and or cooling or anything like that. One day, maybe I will have a greenhouse kind of like that. But for now, oh, look at this, you guys. We've got chemtrails in the making. Check that out. I just noticed the airplane jetting across the clear blue sky and leaving behind a nice trail of chemtrail. Yes, right there. That's the airplane moving across. Anyways, back to what I was talking about before. So we got the greenhouse emptied. We're trying to regulate the temperature and it's difficult. I'm gonna have to cut some slats up along the back wall in order to create some sort of airflow. I'm gonna have to reinforce the plastic with some duct tape and that sort of thing, and then or clear tape. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna do it yet. I don't care if it's got color tape or silver tape or black tape or patterned tape. I don't care what type it is. Did I say clear already? Could be clear tape. I don't know. But I'm gonna have to cut some slats at the very top point on the back wall of the greenhouse adjacent to the door, which is right there. So on the other side, of course, because there is just no place for the heat to go in this greenhouse. And I am gonna have to probably say that's probably one of the biggest downfalls to this greenhouse, is that there is no airflow up top and there's no way for the air to flow out, the heat to get out, because when it gets too hot in there, you need to be able to have a way for it to vent out. And so therefore I lost a bunch of my seed starts because even with the door open, it is getting extremely way too hot in the greenhouse. So I am finding, let me show you guys. It's kind of a mess up here. I really need to clean up my patio area because it looks like a hoarder got loose and I've got my cord attached to my thing. We dug up a bunch of wood chunks out of this area and we're trying to level out the ground. Well, at least I am. And there was a trunk there, so that's what this mess is right here. We pulled out the wood bits, and I figure when I make my little tiny rocket stove outside with bricks for in the summertime, because we always lose like power here for whatever reason, I'm gonna make myself one of those little tiny brick rocket stoves, and I can use this to help kindle the fire and that sort of thing. But over here, I was gonna show you, let me see, you know what, I'll just show you one of these ones over here. I got these dandelions growing here. This one is half the size. I have another dandelion leaf over on this other side. My hand is so small, you guys, compared to the leaves on these dandelions. Like, picture another dandelion twice as big as this, okay? That's what I have growing over here behind me. I'm gonna go ahead and unplug my phone for a second so I can show you. I pulled one of the leaves up and I took a picture and shared it on my Facebook, but check this leaf out. That leaf is so huge. So I figured out that in this shady area right here along the side of my patio area is excellent for growing greens, okay? Just right in the front right here, just where it gets enough sun, but that it has shade as well most of the day, but there's enough sun for it to grow really well. So I'm going to actually be setting up a growing station right here for growing my greens and that sort of thing, lettuces and kale and that sort of thing. But my greenhouse, I'm gonna have to figure out where to move it, as well as creating a vent at the top, but one that I'm just thinking I'm gonna cut a flap and then reinforce the area that I cut with tape on the edges on the inside and around the edges on the flap to make sure that the plastic doesn't rip anymore, and then maybe adhere some with a little bit of sewing, hand sewing, tack down some Velcro so that I can Velcro up the flap up, and then have it so I can bring it down to allow the heat to be able to escape. It's way too hot inside of the greenhouse right now for any of my plants. I killed some apple saplings for my sister in there over the weekend with the door open, you guys. I'm thinking that a lot of the seeds I was trying to start earlier in the season when it got too hot in the greenhouse with the door closed, one day, it only takes one day, you guys, I think it actually killed the plants that were trying to germinate. And so I think that's why I'm having a little bit of a hard time getting things to start in the greenhouse in the sun area, because it gets so hot in there. Plus, the more I'm thinking about, the more I think it would be better to set this greenhouse up with the cover in, I'm wanting to say, have it set up by February. Get the start started. Keep the door closed, but maybe bring it up here closer to the house where I have a little bit more shade during those winter months, towards the end of the winter months, and then just leave it like maybe even this section right here next to the greenhouse where I have, this is a nice flat spot. I could actually probably set up the greenhouse right here, and that would actually be better. Maybe next year, if we're still living in this house, I could set the greenhouse up right here, and then it's right next to the house here, so it'll get shade in the morning, but then it'll have enough sun right here in this section to, and you can kind of see where it is from here to here. There'll be enough sun in the afternoon right in this area to get, enough for the seeds to germinate, but close enough to the house that it'll have enough shade as well in the first few months. Because about this time of year, the beginning of May, and this time of year is about the time I really need to start taking the cover off of the greenhouse. And so I don't think I really need the greenhouse anymore the rest of this season. So I'm thinking about maybe moving it into the shade somewhere, and maybe just doing greens in it, because I'm finding it'll actually help hold a little bit of the heat inside for the greens, and my lettuces and kales and salads will actually do pretty well in it. So I'm thinking either I have this nice shady area along over here. I could put it here. As the summer progresses, the more the shade will come in this direction here. And then I have this section here that always has a nice bit of shade right in the front. So don't mind my mess, you guys. My table is like, I have dirt all on top of it. You guys can see my mess. I've been out here. But over here in this section right here stays really shady. I'm gonna tap my screen to focus a little bit. This area here stays very shady most of the summer, and actually this section right here where I put up this screen last year, right there, as the sun moves with the season, I'll actually have sun come through right here in the morning, so, and then it'll shade out in the afternoon mostly. And so, but in the winter, this whole section here is pretty much shaded all the way up to about here. And so as the sun moves in the sky during the season, as it gets closer to summer, the more sun I have in this section right here. And so I'm thinking this spot right over in this area would be good for growing greens, because right here is where that giant dandelion leaf was that I showed you guys a few seconds ago. So I'm going to be moving the greenhouse again. Trying to find the best place for it. It's kind of difficult. So I cleared it out. Everything's too hot. I lost a lot of seeds. I'm learning, you guys. Cold frames are not your standard greenhouses. So this is, it's advertised as a greenhouse. Yes, it's a little greenhouse, but it is a cold frame. Okay, it's just a taller cold frame, and I love cold frames, but I have found in my experience with my cold frames, they do best with just not like where I have it. So I thought I was doing good moving it here, and I'm gonna have to move it. So I'm gonna have to move all the cinder blocks, and I'm gonna have to just move everything. And I think I'm just going to like forget about the cinder blocks and maybe just get some small pavers that I can put on the bottom shelves to weight it down. And I'm gonna move the rest of those cinder blocks up against the fence line and level them all out and just make that look good over there along that area. In fact, I may even move the cinder blocks and have them wrap up around where the berries are over there. So we'll just have to wait and see. So I thought I would share that with you guys, and now I've got a super long video. Yay! But yeah, I'm gonna be moving the greenhouse, and I got rid of the apple tree that I had purchased last week because I was examining the rootstock and graft area, and there was a space where the original, where the graft was grafted on and where the rootstock was, there was a section where there was no rootstock connecting to the graft, and then the cut was really close to it, and I just didn't feel that it was a very strong graft. And since there wasn't enough tissue from the rootstock adhering to the graft, I just I had this feeling in my heart that once that tree set fruit, that it would be too heavy because of the severity of the graft being so dramatic that it would actually cause the limb and graft area to actually completely break off of the rootstock. And I just decided I didn't even want to mess with it, and I've been researching rootstocks, and so I'm thinking I'm going to just wait until next year, at which point I will purchase some rootstocks, and I will do some experimenting with bud grafting onto the rootstocks, because from the reading I've been doing, bud grafting is a lot stronger type of, one of the strongest, if not strongest, graft when it comes to grafting trees on a tree onto a rootstock. So I'm going to be experimenting with that, with the sap, with the apple trees that I have here. So anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video, third video today, and I will go ahead and upload this today. So there's that. So comment, like, and subscribe. Yay, fun times, and have a wonderful day again. And God bless. Bye.